Hello everyone, welcome to From the Star Wars Home Video Library. I'm your host, Nathan P. Butler. This is a supplemental episode, a supplement in essence to a supplement, episode 17.2. In episode 17.1, we looked at a thing called the DVD Saga Pack relating back to the prequels, and we are going to take a look at another variant on that this time, relatively quickly here. So, quick refresher. In 1999, when The Phantom Menace was released in theaters, there was no corresponding home video release that same year. That hadn't happened yet. That wouldn't happen until 2002 with Attack of the Clones. Instead, the first home video release for The Phantom Menace came in 2000, 1 year later. It would take another year for it to hit DVD, and then a following year to get it in DVD in full screen. So it was sort of a staggered release, you might call it, as they were testing the waters of the way that the market was changing for home video at the time. But if in the year 2000, you wanted to pick up a widescreen copy of The Phantom Menace, you didn't have an option for DVD or Blu-ray. Instead, you would pick up this, right? The widescreen video collector's edition, which had goodies inside, plus a widescreen copy of the film itself. But if you didn't get this, then you were watching this way. You were watching The Phantom Menace here on VHS as its regular release, which, as always back in that day, was not marked as widescreen, making it full screen. This is an era in which it was the opposite of what would eventually happen with the DVDs, where full screen would be labeled, widescreen would not necessarily be. In this case, yeah, no label for widescreen, this is full screen. You could have watched this way, or if you went to Toys R Us, you could have done the whole clamshell thing. But it was the same movie, the theatrical cut of Episode 1, put out on VHS. In 2002, you could buy Attack of the Clones on VHS. It did not have a widescreen VHS release in the United States, just this full-screen version. And while at this point we're really kind of focusing on Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones in this episode, I would note again that Revenge of the Sith didn't get a US VHS release at all. For that, you had to go outside the US to other markets like the UK. In 2001, we had the widescreen release of The Phantom Menace on DVD, and then 1 year later in 2002, we had the full-screen release with the crazy blue packaging. I say crazy, I basically just mean ugly as hell. Also in 2000, you had the release of the widescreen and full-screen versions of Attack of the Clones. It's most well known that they eventually found themselves into a box set in 2008 as part of the prequel trilogy. But there was a previous box set just for Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones that we looked at in episode 17.1, which was this. The DVD Saga Pack, or the Saga DVD Pack. I always tend to flip those two. It is the full-screen DVD releases from 2002 of Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones put into a slipcase and marketed as a Saga Pack when everybody knew there was going to be a third film in the prequel trilogy and that this was basically an incomplete box set they were being sold. But sold it was. Now this is one of these things that was almost like an afterthought for me to eventually get my hands on, because I don't tend to think about this Saga DVD pack when I think about box sets of Star Wars, because it's not a full trilogy. But I eventually did wind up finding a copy and featured it on the show in 17.1. Well, thanks to an individual named Big Mac Davis, or whose username is Big Mac Davis, I finally got my hands on another variant of this that I'd kind of forgotten existed. I just hadn't hunted it down, because as much as this wasn't on my radar, something that wasn't DVD that was like this was definitely not on it. That new item for the home video library is this. The Saga Video Pack, as opposed to the Saga DVD Pack, which is essentially the same thing. You have your Phantom Menace logo here, with the 1, the name of the film, Attack of the Clones art here, number, name of the film, same thing on the opposite side. Side, Episode 1, Episode 2 with Star Wars in between. Top, Episode 1, Episode 2 with Star Wars in between. Bottom, just your legal information. I always put that upside down. Legal information and UPC and all that kind of stuff. And inside it, the full-screen VHS copies of Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones in their original home video releases. Not any special thing out of a special box set or anything like that. So full screen and full screen, which is exactly what we got back in the DVD pack, right? Full screen and full screen. The biggest difference here is just format, VHS or DVD, and by extension of format, what kind of bonus features do you have? Same ones you would always have had with these, which is very, very little, and same as you would always have had with the DVDs, which is quite a bit. The only real difference in any of the VHS tapes is if you flip them around, they've got the little thing, little sticker over the barcode for the individual films, so that they weren't being sold individually because they were meant to be sold in here using that one. So in 2002, if you were looking for a Saga pack of the 2 prequels to date, you could have gotten either of these. And either would have been a substandard way of viewing it because neither was widescreen. Never understand why they didn't do these in widescreen, but maybe it's just a matter of availability or the leap towards DVD. In any event, it's a new item added to the collection, a bit of an oddball, a little tougher to find, something you don't see very often. Not that it's really sought after so much as just aren't many of them out there, apparently. But I want to make sure to feature it here on the show so you can take a look. As always, thank you for watching, and may the Force be with the home video viewers.